Hello, everyone. Once again, I'm very sorry this is coming out very late. I just want to get this done while it's still Wednesday. But today we are journeying back to ancient Egypt. Yes, we need to read a story out of the Treasury of Ancient Egyptian Mythology, by Donna Jo Napoli and Christina Ballot providing the illustrations. If you have an interest in mythology for you to read to your kids, I highly recommend picking up this one, as well as Norse and Greek mythology to essentially complete the little cycle as it would. Most of the stories in here are 2 or 3-parters, which are tightly woven together, just as ancient Egypt's pyramid texts, which these stories are clearly based off of, weave the stories of Isis, Osiris, Set, Horus, and Horus together, as well as providing 2-parter stories for gods that have dual identities, such as the one we're going to be looking at today, which is called Hathor, or Hathor. Once again, I will be using the Greek version of their name as it's much easier to pronounce. The ancient Egyptians really didn't make this easy, so here we go. Hathor, goddess of delights. People like to talk, often without much to say, but sometimes chattering went beyond thoughtless to reckless. The sun god Ra was leader, and talking about him was a common pastime. They heard about how Ra battled with Apep and Needham to Huti's help survive his passage through the underworld each night. They heard about how Ra drooled and Isis created a serpent from that spittle to bite him and trick him into revealing his secret name. See? Don't you see? They said. Ra wasn't half the god he used to be. Before, he was invincible and astute. There was no doubt about it, said the people. Ra had grown infirm. No brawn, no vigor. He should be replaced. Ra was furious, naturally. He had faced that very challenge from the god Set and enlisted the help of Heru to meet it. But now to be challenged by mere humans? Outrageous! He sent for his eye, the goddess Hathor, or Hathor, to punish the humans. Hathor stood as though struck by lightning. Why had Ra chosen her? Hathor had no experience with punishment. The vast waters of Nun from which Ra had first risen moved quickly sometimes, forming a tide called Mehetweret. Each dawn, Mehetweret helped Ra rise from the waters of the underworld up into the current of the sky to begin a new day. Mehetweret was like a loving mother to Ra. She came in cow form, a sun disk between her horns. Stars twinkled from her ears. Mehetweret splashed up and kissed the Milky Way, which was Hathor's special sparkle. Hathor loved Mehetweret in return, and was inspired to move fluids too. She poured the milk of the Milky Way onto Horus and restored the young god's eyes after his uncle Set had plucked them out. She made the waters inside a pregnant woman royal and burst forth to announce an imminent birth. Hathor stayed beside the women through labor, delivery, and the child's infancy. She didn't use her Nephthys' role as comforter in birthing pains. She didn't usurp Isis' role as fertility goddess and family advisor. Instead, she complemented them. These goddesses worked together for women's health and joy. Hathor found delight in bodily senses. She loved perfume and had people burn myrrh incense in her honor. Fragrance gave pleasure to breathing, so Hathor's gift to the nose was felt with every inhalation. She loved the colors of stones and metals, turquoise, malachite, gold, copper. She became patron goddess of miners and urged people to wear jewelry, even the slaves. She taught women to grind malachite into powder to circle their eyes and appear beautiful. The powder protected against infection, so the women could enjoy the pleasures of sight their whole life. Gifts for the eyes. Hathor played the harp exquisitely, and she had a favorite turquoise necklace, a minette, which she shook as she danced, to make a tinkly noise that brought smiles. Her laughter, too, was musical, a gift to the ears, She danced when her father Ra was despondent, danced and danced until he couldn't help but smile. She took people's hands and taught them choral dances, stamping to the sistrum beats. Another gift, this time to the sense of rhythm that comes from the heart. She gave people wine and beer, for alcohol loosened their limbs to dance and release them from worry. From the moment Ra created her, Hathor knew she was counted on. She listened carefully. She came when prayed, or read to, or sung to, or even thought about. This was who Hathor was, the goddess who taught women delight. And now Ra, of whom she was his very eye, asked her to take vengeance on humans? Quite honestly, she didn't know where to begin. But then the ugly rumors against Ra entered her ears and bounced inside her head, then descended into her heart and crushed like Sekhem. Thorns of anger poked the back of her eyes. Fury set her heart afire. Her hair grew into gold lion mane. Her fingernails became claws. Her teeth fangs. Her gentle face transformed into the visage of wrath. Hathor roared and sprang after those who had maligned Ra. They fled into the desert and hid among rocks. She shredded them. She ran into villages and slew humans who had never spoken even one evil word against Ra. The Nile foamed blood red of innocence. That night, Hathor returned to Ra. He praised her. "We have prevailed because of you, Hathor. Rest now. You deserve it. Rest." But she didn't. She couldn't. Ooh. I guess we'll have to wait until the second part where she becomes Sekhmet, which is the god of vengeance, to figure out how this conflict gets solved. Until that time, see you next week.